Okay, welcome back to another one, fellas. Thank you for tuning in. In 2024, we're closing out the year with an award show. We let you guys vote for the knockout of the year, the submission of the year, the fight of the year, the fighter of the year, and the most improved fighter of the year. You guys voted, and so now that's what this show gonna be all about. Or are you shocked by any of the choices? Because I do have some things that kind of shocked me a little bit. I think just one thing kind of threw me off a little bit.
It was nothing that was too crazy. I was surprised a little bit about something, but it wasn't too far, you know?
I think me and you talked about this on TikTok. The fight of the year, Gaethje versus Holloway. I think that when you talk about a fight of the year, it needs to be more competitive. This was a lopsided fight that ended in one of the most brutal knockouts we ever seen in our lives. That's not fight of the year. So we're going to start it off with the knockout of the year. The options were Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill, Ilia Topuria versus Alex Volkanovski, Oliveira versus Sopaj, and then obviously Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. This was a clear number one.
Absolutely, especially when we're talking about how it ended, when it ended, and the significance, because when Max won this fight against Justin Gaethje, he could have fought Ilia or he could have fought Islam. So he could have went up and fought for the lightweight belt or the featherweight belt. So,
and then he won the BMF belt in the process. Going out there and having that lopsided fight and then putting him down like that, man, that's got to be a top 5 knockout, man. That's right up there with Joaquin Buckley and that spinning kick. But Oliveira, he had a good knockout. I'm actually surprised, man, because if we talking about just the actual knockout, his knockout is probably the second best knockout on this list.
And it was almost like any UFC gamers out there, this knockout was like something you see on the video game.
Yeah.
Where he hurt him, but then he just went forward and flying knee. It didn't even look real.
Yeah, because Gaethje and Holloway won at 76% for the knockout of the year, which that makes sense. But if you look at the actual knockout of Ilia Topuria and Volkanovski, it was a great knockout. It was significant, but it wasn't a better knockout than Oliveira at all. Like the actual knockout. I ain't talking about the meaning behind it, if it's a title fight, the rankings and all that kind of stuff, because both of them guys are making their debut, Oliveira and Sopaj. But it was just an impressive knockout. The Jamal Hill woman and Pereira.
It's just a sequence of what happened before that.
It ain't even that. It's just the fact that there was no actual real fight and then it just ended in a knockout. I don't feel like we really saw nothing other than the fact that Alex is just better than Jamal Hill. At the time, at least.
Yeah, during that fight.
Probably is the case still, but he kind of knocked him out like he was nothing. You know what I mean? Then we move on to the submission of the year. The winner was Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev. Now, this fight happened kind of recent, like in the last few weeks.
This one was kind of like a surprise for me. I probably would have chose the Greatness versus Israel one.
Yeah.
That one sounded like more of a submission of the year. And the reason is because Israel was going to get his belt back. It was a lot of stuff going on. It was a lot of trash talk going on about like who's African, who's not African. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, that fight was back and forth. And then it ended with a submission. So you got everything. You got the fight, you got the build up. You know what I'm saying? It was just a complete fight with a great ending.
Yeah. And then the actual fight was really good. In my opinion, it was one of the best fights of the year. But Tapology, it wasn't on that list like that. It wasn't high up on the list, which I was surprised because they was boxing back and forth, man. There was some times where Drekas was barely missing on some punches that probably could have knocked Izzy out and some head kicks. And then Izzy started taking over and he started kind of doing his thing before the fight ended. Now, the Makhachev and Poirier fight, the only thing about this is Poirier has lost every title fight he's had by submission. So this is the third time we've seen this. I don't see how that one is ranked over.
I see what you're saying, because whenever we see Dustin lose by submission 2-3 times, you know what I'm saying? I know it's not in a row. He normally goes on a win streak.
But in title fights.
But in title fights, man, he's losing by submission. We didn't see Charles. We didn't see Habib do it. Now it was Islam.
And I think that one of the odds for this were very high that Islam would win by submission. Him winning and by submission, not Dustin winning or not Islam winning by decision. People predicted that this would happen. Now, the Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega too, y'all, this came from Tapology. I don't even know how this made the list. Now, it was a cool submission.
It was a good comeback. It was a good comeback because he got hurt. He got knocked down.
What hurts is the fact that Yair didn't do jack squat for the rest of the year. And then Brian Ortega went out there and got squashed by Diego Lopez.
That's why. Okay.
So it's like, it was really irrelevant. At the time, it was like, whoever wins get to get a big fight next.
And then Brian fought somebody it was kind of on short notice. It was a fight that was rescheduled after it was originally scheduled on short notice. And he went there and got embarrassed.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about this fight because he fought Diego Lopez and got embarrassed.
So neither one of them guys are relevant. But now the thing with the Robert Whittaker and the Khamzat fight, this almost reminds me of the submission of the year version of the Jamal Hill and Alex Pereira. It just happened so fast.
Submission of the year?
This is the submission of the year version of the knockout of the year candidates, because like I said with that one, this happened so fast we didn't really get to see nothing. Like, he literally got one takedown and choked him out. It wasn't really a choke though. We know what happened. He broke his jaw, but that's still a submission.
And that's why we were so excited about this fight, because we thought Robert could at least stuff takedowns early on and they can go back and forth and get to the second and third round, but it never happened.
So then we get to the fight of the year. UFC 300, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. They won. I'm not surprised, but only thing is UFC 300, Justin Gaethje and Holloway, you know, when we talk about fight of the year, I always imagine a competitive fight, a back and forth, and then somebody takes over. You know, this was a lopsided beatdown. At the end of the first round, when Justin got hit with that spinning back kick and his nose got broke,
I mean, fight went downhill after that moment.
Yeah, and then he was getting schooled even before that. Like, Max clearly was ahead. Like, his time and his distance, everything was up there. And actually, we was looking at this the other day on the UFC channel for the UFC 2024 review, and Max almost got Justin out of there early in the fight. Was it the second round?
I don't know which round it was, but
it was one of them early rounds where Max almost finished Justin. So I was looking like, man, we almost didn't even get to no championship rounds. How is it the fight of the year?
I think it's fight of the year because the fact that Justin was down and he bit down, they both bit down on their mouthpiece and they started throwing punches.
Yeah, but when we talk about a fight of the year, I think that Islam versus Poirier was more competitive. It was more, both of them had moments where they was doing what they good at.
Yeah.
And then it came down to Islam just got it. You know what I'm saying? At the end. And I would even rank Pereira and Khalil Roundtree Jr. because Khalil was winning that fight until he wasn't.
Yeah.
So that was a good back and forth fight, or a good fight that was going one way and then it went the other way, versus literally, I think Max had to be up all rounds. Maybe he lost one round, which I don't know what round that would be. I would have to go back and watch it. I think he had to be up all rounds, and then he absolutely obliterated him at the end. This was not competitive.
You know what fight should have been on here for fight of the year?
What?
The Dricus versus Izzy fight. That's the fight of the year.
Yeah, but at least it was like Dricus, Izzy. You know what I'm saying? But on Tapology, people had already voted, and it wasn't up there. You know. So then here we got fighter of the year. The winner was Alex Poetin Pereira at 70%. In second place was Ilia Topuria. Kind of shocked that after a fight that Alex was actually losing against Khalil when he won towards the end, that people picked him. Everything Alex has done has been impressive. I'm not saying nothing bad about Alex right now, but it's the reality. He beat Jamal Hill in a fight that it almost looked like it didn't happen. And it ain't his fault. He did what he's supposed to do. He smashed him. The second fight, he beat Yuri in a rematch of a fight that he already knocked Yuri out. And then he just knocked him out worse this time. The third fight, he fought a number 8 ranked Khalil at the time, who didn't deserve a title fight. It was just going to be a good fun fight for the fans. But when you actually look at Topuria beat the two greatest
featherweights of all time.
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
how was this not remotely close? I don't understand.
And on top of that, Volk was undefeated for a long time in the featherweight division. And on top of that, Max is on a win streak, coming off one of the greatest knockouts the UFC you've ever seen.
And if we going by the logic of y'all picking the KO of the year was Max, the fight of the year was Max versus Justin, and then for Ilia to go out there and beat him, and that has seemingly no type of impact on fighter of the year, is kind of crazy. Let me go look at the comments, because I know that Alex saved cards and it's beloved and all of that. Yep, say no more. The last category, most improved fighter of the year. The winner at 66%. Who saw this coming a year ago? Joaquin Buckley. We waited until after the Kobe fight just to see if he would win.
Really, this whole list, not just Joaquin Buckley. If you're going to look at everybody, last year, you think we'd be talking about Dominic Reyes, Volkov, Bilal. We won't be talking about this last year. That's crazy. Bilal was on that win streak, man.
Yeah, but we didn't really think, I didn't think he was going to be Leon. You always said he was going to be Leon. And then Alexander Volkov, yeah, he lost to Cyril Gane, but we all saw the fight. And then Dominic Reyes, man, my lord. I didn't think we was ever going to see this again. 2 good wins.
But that was what I said, though. I said he should fight lesser opponents and then get on that win streak and build his confidence up.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a few years at this point. I ain't gonna lie. What was my rebuttal to that? Because me and you've had this conversation personally a few times, and I always fought you on this.
No, your rebuttal was he can't beat nobody in top 10, nobody in top 15. And then he came out and did exactly what you said he was going to do. He came out and beat. I know Dustin was on the...
No, but Anthony is a shell of his former self. And Dustin Jacoby was on a win streak at the time when I said that. He fighting a different version of them. It's good to see him doing good, man. Buckley kind of been the same, to be honest. He's just not fighting the elite competition.
What are you talking about? Dude, he fought Kobe. He fought Wonder Boy.
Hold on. Even before that, all the fights that he won, he was an underdog. They thought the Russian dude was going to beat him. Even back to like a few fights ago, remember the Russian dude with the wrestling? The bald-headed dude? They thought he was going to beat Joaquin. Joaquin out-wrestled him, beat him up. Then what about the tall Russian dude that he fought in St. Louis?
But ain't that the same argument we said for Kobe Covington? He's fighting people who was past their prime. Yeah. Old.
Didn't Buckley beat Vicente Luque?
Yeah, but Vicente is the
epitome. But people didn't think that he was going to win, though. He was an underdog in all these fights. Not only did he beat Wonder Boy, he smoked him in the 3rd round. And then to go out there and do Kobe like that, man.
I disagree with this comment, man, because Buckley is going to be in the category of fighters nobody want to fight. And he's going to be worse than Jack because Jack ain't got the takedown defense that Buckley has. If Kobe was fighting against Jack Della, he could have easily got a takedown.